So good morning all, and nice to see you all again this year. So we'll be starting this session on industrial AI, data fabric and digitalization. So we have three speakers in this session, and all three speakers are from sponsor side. So the first speaker is Mr. Rajesh Ramachandran, Global Chief Digital Officer, ABB Automation. He'll be speaking on the next industrial frontier, AI-driven autonomous operations. Followed by Siemens, Mr. Vivek Roy, Head OT IT Integrations, Digital Industry, Siemens Limited, and he'll be speaking on Data Meets Defense, the OT transformation journey. Followed by our OPC Foundation sponsor, OPC-UA, the Foundation for Industrial Digitalization, how secure semantic interoperability enables digital transformation, AI, digital twins, and connected value chains worldwide by Stephen Hope, President from OPC Foundation. Please welcome all the speakers. I request Mr. Rajesh Ramachandran to come on the stage.
So one thing I learned in the morning is that this clicker also has AI in it. It works for some people if you're AI friendly. If your slides are too many, it stops. Or if you're boring, it stops. I learned it. I'll try to handle it better. Let me try it once. It works. Down one. Yeah, it works. Great. So welcome back after the tea break. It's always good to have energy and then talk about energy and autonomous operations. Been with ABB for now 7 years, but ABB as a company is existing for more than 140 years. It's a global technology company, is in more than 120 countries. There are only 4 companies in the world in the industrial space of industrial automation, which are in the same age, more than 100 years. Proud to be in the company which is leading both on technology, but also making real impact to the industries. My topic is about how companies that have been serving customers for more than 100 years on the different industry revolutions, how we are taking partnering on taking the next shape of taking automation to autonomous operations. And it's also going to see that it's happening real, and I will show the use cases. And I think some of the things that we talked about, my friends earlier, including the ones we talked about, the famous shift handover was one of the things everybody asks, and we also have that, like many of the agents, which are today running quite a lot in the industries, that will see that how companies are also progressing to be able to be able to really make this happen. So we can always start with the AI landing, creating an excitement, saying that just beyond an industry and manufacturing, things are like extremely disruptive. The one that I really love among the things is about what you see here as how many DNA that has been tested, which is really going to help on, it's really helping in terms of for us to cure diseases which are never able to cure. But then when I take that landing to what ABB is serving to our customers, it's pretty simple. Our customer asks us only 2. One is that give us clean energy, energy security, energy transition. Second is that be part of us to make smarter operations. And ABB is here to help customers to outperform, and we call it leaner and cleaner. And what I will go through in next couple of minutes is to show that how that is progressing and how our customers are also adopting industrial AI at scale for achieving the autonomous operations. The first part is pretty straightforward. AI with energy. It is like a double-edged sword, right? Data centers also need quite a lot of energy. In fact, ABB is doing extremely well there because we are providing the whole lot of the energy chain for the data centers to be able to provide more AI. At the same time, AI is helping back to optimize the energy consumptions, make smarter assets, and make grid smarter. So that's one theme that we see. We have been working quite a lot with our customers on providing cleaner, energy secure, as well as energy optimized. The second is all our favorite topics here, which is about autonomous operations. And immediately, we get our antennas going up saying, oh, autonomous for operations in manufacturing. But it also knows that we call in ABB towards autonomous because, as we talked about in the morning as well, every step on this autonomous operations has a significant gain that we see for our customers. And it's all associated with the business values. We always see the autonomous operations meant for achieving something for each of the industries. For instance, safety could be the biggest priority for mining, as an example. Or looking at fuel efficiency is a great factor for the marine industry. Or manufacturing, it's about making a lot more efficiency, productivity, as well as bringing the reliability of the critical assets. So this actually is what is driving us in terms of why we need to go from automation to autonomous operations. And I believe that it is not like it just switching directly from an automation to autonomous, which I think we all agree. And first of all, maybe just a bit of a few seconds of theoretically looking at it. In automation, we are talking about it, how you actually sense, act, and analyze. But what we need here is that in autonomous, you go one level where you can also think about what is not clearly defined and solve it, perceive it, and really look at loop closing it. So this actually is not a one-step process. You go from an automation to what we call in ABB calls automation extended. That means that you are bringing a lot of the things that need not be in the control, in the peripheries of the controls, you bring it out and take it to the place that it is making it seamless to go to autonomous operations. And that's why we call us that our goal is to look at level 4, which is pretty much looking at still human is in the loop, human is in supervisory. There are cases there we have no human needed. It is like human is informed rather than human need to be in the approval chain. But I would say 90% of the cases for industries, it's always about human is there to be having all the information to make the final tick, right? That's what we see as an industrial autonomy. And this is happening today. And what it means practically is that the evolution of applications, we can easily relate it, right? And I'll just give two examples here. One is that just looking at, we have been a lot on the 2 till 2023, where it's all about system of insights. Once the generative AI came, the assistive intelligence came into picture, that everything we do, whether you want to configure a machine, whether you want to attend a service call, everything that you want to do it is assisted today with, at least we have in ABB at least about 100 different Gen AI co-pilots, industrial co-pilots. But then that's a system of assistance. But what's happening is clearly the system of actions as well. These co-pilots are becoming not only agent to the people, but also becoming agent to the machines or agent to the processes to take actions and keeping human in the loop. And this is happening not just like in certain countries, it's happening in India, it's happening across the world on use cases which are very clearly defined, policy managed for where it can go completely autonomous versus where it becomes like towards autonomous. I'll take an example as what we call as an asset side. It's very interesting, right? So you can, the products that you saw is like ABB's product, but if you look at the move here is that going to autonomous asset reliability. What we were solving it by using application like asset performance management, which is now every step of that, even without opening an application of APM for different roles, you could get the co-pilots, which are in turn being fed by the agents across the areas, whether it's about getting the data from various different sources or actually managing the best possible model, AI model that has to run, the AML model underneath, the first principle or the analytical model. Then to be able to also give the prescriptive recommendations and also inform the workflows to automate. That's actually is happening on what we call as a space that we all know on asset performance management, predictive maintenance. But then what next happening is companies which are maturing is going to the towards self-healing assets. We just heard about self-optimizing supply chains, self-optimizing operations. There are great examples today that couple of good amount of assets, including electrical assets, have been turning towards self-healing assets. We'll have another session tomorrow which talks into details about how these are all achieved through a data-driven, AI-powered, and scalable approach. Of course, when we talk about all this, yes, we will achieve. It starts from that, what is that big enabler that's actually taking the automation towards autonomous operations? And we all know that it's about industrial AI, which is actually AI applied for the industries, which brings both domain expertise and data-driven AI ensemble to be able to drive it. And you can clearly see that the things that are driving now is, we talked about in the morning as well, that you have all the data. The connection is no more issue. IoT is solved majority of the cases. But what do you do with the data? How do you then use it is, it needs a contextualization. Even for humans to use it, to create insights, we need a contextual intelligence. But imagine for agents, it needs a lot more AI-ready contextual intelligence. And that we call as the way that the next path. In fact, we even had to look at our platform, which is Genix, to look at in a slightly different way of solving these two problems. The first side is about creating a scalable industrial intelligent contextual foundation, which is about connect, contextualize, and predict. And the second part is that how do you then take it to the autonomous of assistive intelligence to look at agentic workflows, then finally going for the self-optimization. I have just three practical examples which are deployed to many customers today. The first one is very familiar in terms of the asset performance management, but the same application which existed for years together on data-driven AI or analytical AI is now changed in terms of looking at how the experience for, possibly I cannot run the video here, the experience of how it is actually is bringing the different people, whether it's an asset reliability engineer, maintenance engineer, operation engineer, to be able to coordinate using the co-pilots that's helping them to perform the jobs. There was a question about what could be handed over from the shift. Similar to the way that you can today in your chat GPT or in your co-pilot, you could actually do a specific search or learning prompts. You can send the link to the next person, which is giving you all the things that you went through it. The same thing is happening here in terms of bringing what actually has been the progress made by one role of this particular industry, let's say maintenance or operations, can then pass it on to a reliability engineer that then can go to an asset strategy analyst. So the whole thing, what you see in the right side is, can be also seen without even opening application of Copilot that summarizes us, that does an RCA, that actually also helps on optimizing even your asset investment planning strategies. The other thing that is needed is when the technology is moving, you also have an opportunity for adopting the digital twins to become no more of augmented virtualized intelligence, but also making decision-making intelligence with simulation embedded for digital twins. This is something that we just launched 3 months back with NVIDIA together and Microsoft. This is one first in the industry where you are able to bring agentic intelligence embedded along with your 3D digital twin to be able to solve. In this case, what you are seeing is a gas analyzer is detecting there is a leakage, and how a service engineer or even the engineer, maintenance engineer from the customer side could use this immersive, not only the digital twin, but also combine that with your Genix Copilot in this case to get the conversational intelligence goes back to the ABB's service organization without having a person to talk to. The whole ABB's service organization has been made as an agent in this case. That agent is pretty much providing the intelligence to the person who is on the shop floor. It's making a completely a difference in terms of how you serve the customers, how we are able to bring the value to the industries. So here the example is, it goes to a specific gas analyzer. It goes further to be able to identify also where the flow has been, like the rate changed, and it needed also gives the instructions of how do you replace particular valve. So if you go to the next step is about, which I get pretty excited about, is how do you really bring the AI to the shop floor and frontline operators? So we have today one of the largest solar site, in fact, the world's largest site. It's about 3.8 kilometers, square kilometers, close to about 3 million solar panels, but just getting controlled or managed by 2 people in the control room. That is possible with industrial AI hitting directly into the what we call as AI-defined automation. So this is example where for a person, instrumentation engineer or technician can go to the shop floor, just scan the QR code of the particular analyzer, gas analyzer. Imagine that the gas analyzer is down for some time, emission breaches, even the plant needs to be shut down. So here, in the mobile, the person on the shop floor is able to just scan the QR code of that gas analyzer. It provides all the real-time information back to the agent which is sitting in the ABB side, which actually provides, including, it will actually do the automatic calibration without the person even touching this instrument. So of course, if finally needs, it can also then submit a ticket in the SAP or CRM ticket to be able to get the engineer going. A lot of benefits. One is that you are able to keep the availability of this critical assets very much like closer to 100%. You are able to avoid industrial emissions like CO2, methane, whatnot. Third, you are also making the safety element for the operators, as well as including people not flying from one place to other place, saving again on sustainability side. If I look at the the next level of autonomous operation is about all these co-pilots. We have close to about 80 plus today. All these co-pilots are turning into the agent. As I said, instead of just communicating the insights to the user or the role, it is actually communicating back to the systems. For instance, the sustainability co-pilot is now able to go and set the set points for the precision cooling systems in a data center. Of course, it keeps it. You can still start with saying that till you get the model trust, you could have an approval cycle, then you automate it. You know that like in an operational context, you have different safety windows. You have different integrity window levels. You could set for certain window levels, AI can close the loop. On certain, obviously, you need a human approval to close it. We are happy here from ABB to help on customers who would like to really get the power of both Copilot for assistive intelligence, but also then making agents that can do quite a lot of progress on things that you could easily automate in your process assets as well as in the operation side. This is a great example where we used to have experts, captains, who used to be in each vessel to be able to manage tugs which are in a very tough conditions, vessels, cruises, and containers. This is a SaaS solution completely powered by agentic AI, in which 6,000 of the marine vessels are controlled by just 4 experts sitting in one place in Stockholm. So it's happening that you are able to bring things which are typically considered as human-centric, bring the agentic AI to complete the workflows and still keep your safety and achieve your business outcomes as we talked here. So that brings in terms of A, there is a clear path towards for industries to go from automation to autonomous operations. B, as we even saw in the beginning, the contextualization needed for AI is even much more demanding than what we need as contextualization. Contextualization, for you want to see an asset in not only a hierarchy, but in the process context or operational context or safety context, financial context. The contextualization of process, asset, and operations or energy, that becomes a lot more critical for AI-ready contextualization. You have companies which have been doing extremely well on this space. At least we see like few in this already here. We can help on that to put your contextualization for making really the agentic AI to make it work. Thanks for the opportunity. I will be there for questions. Thank you.